Hey. My name is Paul K. Lemire. This is Habsolutely, and I am here with my co-host, John Filion.
Bonjour, mon ami.
Sitting right over here. And, of course, YouTube superstar, Drew Deeks is in the house today. We're always happy when Drew comes in. Voila, madame.
What?
Voila, madame.
Oh, Madame et Monsieur.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Je vous présente
Okay.
El Signorio, Drew Deeks.
You can just call me. You can call me Angie. You don't have to call me a superstar every time I come in here.
Why
it's
not?
kind of. I don't know.
Megastar.
Makes me feel a little weird.
I think it's awesome.
I'm just normal, like everybody else.
I put my pants on one leg at a time. And
not always.
You wear
Sometimes I mix it
pants?
up.
the only difference between me
You
and
have pants on today?
Well, lots of times I don't. But the only difference between you and me is I make hit records. And I'm telling you, we need more cowbell. Anyway, this is absolutely good.
I was gonna keep going with that. No, you're good. You're good.
A good fun today. Now listen, I want to start with a little Habs trivia. This is,
Don't you always?
I always do, but we were doing draft trivia before, right? So are we going to say hello? Thank you for tuning in, everybody.
I'm trying to get my mic stand not in John's face.
Now, just don't
So
forget
I will have to
that
shrink down.
when you look at this video, you got to give the thumbs up. You got to subscribe if you haven't
there you go.
subscribed. And
Now I get
also,
Johnny's pretty face
what
in
do you
there.
do? Just sit on the floor?
And
I'm at John's.
And
level.
also
This is
hit
great.
it all looks fabulous.
the notifications so when we put a new video on,
Thanks for all your comments.
yeah, the
All
comments are
appreciated.
awesome. I love the comments.
Speaking of notification, this will be our last one for a little while.
Well, it'll be Drew's last one for a little while.
True.
Absolutely
True.
will continue on, except on the 24th of July we won't be here, but we're continuing on because it's we don't want to disappoint our audience. We got to be on.
For the Geeks Squad people
For
here.
the Geek Squad.
I mean, that's the members on my channel, but for
the
the
Geek
viewers,
Squad.
how can they still listen to your show if we don't post them
Well,
on
you
YouTube?
can go
for a
to
little bit?
4680Q Radio and listen live at noon every Wednesday, or you can watch the video on YouTube at the Habsolutely channel.
You also are posting shows on your channel as well, so we're posting them on both
Yes.
channels, so folks
Yes.
can catch them. Let's build up your channel too, and not just
Yes,
mine.
yes,
So,
we're building.
like the
And,
Canadians.
Under construction.
And no
As they
Tony
say.
Marinaro,
Yeah.
you cannot come on the show. You're not part of this. You got your own
What's
gig
wrong
going.
with Tony?
Well, Tony's Italian. He's a little bit loud, and sometimes
You love Tony.
a little
You
bit
love
of.
him.
I love him. He's my favorite. He's my favorite. I'm hoping
You
he gets.
absolutely love him.
Yeah, I absolutely do, and I hope he gets mad and comes on the show at me to yell at me. That's
he
what I'm
does, too.
hoping. I'm
That would
gonna
be-
prod him, give him a poke.
That'd be epic.
So let's do a little trivia here before we get into what's going on with the Habsolutely crowd and the Habs right now. Your favorite player right now is...
Florian Xhekaj.
Get out of here. Your favorite player is number 20, Slavkovsky. Let's face it.
I mean,
Yeah, he's got to be, right?
I
Okay.
can't possibly the more the years go on, the better he gets. It's
yeah.
embarrassing how stupid I was. But you know what? It was kind of like this was my beginning of my channel really starting to grow a little bit, and I was just hoping that we were going to have 2 Nick Suzuki's instead of 1 by taking Shane Wright, but I'm glad every single time that we bring his name up that we did. I can't imagine not having this kid right now.
No, me neither.
Slavkovsky is so much fun to have on this team. So
But what's past is past. We know you love him now.
yes,
You've made contrition. You apologize.
I
to
did.
him.
Will you still love him tomorrow?
You bet I will. I'll love him for the next 8 years.
Well, we got to. I mean, we're paying him $7.5 million.
we are
better
paying
love
him.
him.
We personally are paying him.
So, how many players in the history of the Habs have worn the number 20? And I'm going to give you 4 choices.
Oh, I see why you went here. I
Yes,
see.
now it makes sense, right?
There was some method to your madness.
A, 18, B, 27, C, 39, or D, 53. How many have worn the number 20? Use the number 20 in the history
Well,
of the Habs.
I'll go with 53 because that was your football number.
Was it
You're
really?
right, it was.
Yes.
What were the? I always have to play around the mic.
caught
Ooh, this
me.
is the sweet spot. I found you, sweet spot. I knew you were there.
Well, it's getting
There was an option in the 20s and 30s. What were they again?
27 and 39. Frank Mahavlich, and I don't know who 39 was.
No idea.
Oh boy,
It was
it's
Penny,
29.
J.C. Penny or whatever his name is.
Was it 29? You said
39.
27.
27 or
and
39. It's one of those two. I
Oh, yeah,
will
like
put
Joe
money
Biden
on that.
over there. Which one?
Yeah, I gotta close my eyes if I'm gonna be him. I hope he's okay. I really hope he's okay.
He's okay.
I'm trying to not think
He's
about.
just old.
yeah. He's an octogenarian. So I think
Absolutely.
That's a good one.
Hey.
Yeah, he is.
I'm gonna go with 27.
Okay, the correct answer is 53.
You finally got me, John.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's right.
finally got me. You know
You were
what?
on a roll. You
You're
had
all
like
right.
2 or 3 in a row.
And I was
I
guessing.
think he had a hat trick.
I was going for the hat
the
trick.
natural hat trick.
I was going for the hat trick, and I think I missed it. Is what I think happened here.
So let me give you some of the names of players, more famous Montreal players who wore number 20.
53 people wore number 20. I can't even think of one.
Well, I'll tell you one that you're not going to believe because he didn't end up with that number, but when he came to the Habs in 1951, he wore it.
1951, Jean Beliveau.
That's right, Jean Beliveau.
John is he's my favorite legend, I think. Sorry if I'm playing at the mic.
Numero 4. Now, did he wear 20 because his number was taken? Like he couldn't get it when
I'm not
he
sure.
came from Quebec? Or was that his number when he played for the Quebec team?
It's possible, and then he went to number 4. It could have been taken. Maybe his number was 4 and he couldn't get it on the Habs.
Exactly. You have to do some research.
The next guy in 1957 was Ralph Backstrom. We all know Ralph Backstrom.
And Ralph Backstrom, I always knew as number 6.
Yeah, and when he first came, number 20.
Interesting.
Phil Goyette. Remember
Phil
that?
Goyette. Now,
Remember?
that's the guy who probably did wear number 20 quite a bit and then got traded to the Rangers.
Yeah, he
with
wore it.
Raj Gilbert
He wore it from
and Jacques Perron.
He wore it from 57 to 63. So obviously Backstrom got his number 6, and Phil Goyette got the number 20.
Right.
You know what's cool about Hockey DB? I think, if I'm seeing this correctly, I'm just looking at Ralph Backstrom's Hockey DB page, and beside each year the Canadiens won the Cup, they actually have a little trophy next to the Canadiens. I'm pretty sure that's what it means, because they won the Cup in 68, right?
Yes.
67. Oh, no. 67... 68.
Yes,
So
they won it in 68.
Okay.
66, 67 is...
Who was it?
Wait,
I can't remember.
Me neither, I
I
don't know.
just-
It
I
was
don't
in
think
black
they're-
and white.
Slips my
I don't
mind
think
at
they're
the
in the
moment.
NHL anymore.
It was in black and white. You said that on our draft night.
Really? I don't know.
On draft night, he's like, "Are the Leafs still in this league? Because they're not making any picks." That's because they traded them all away for players that aren't there anymore.
They got number 23, I think. Yeah, that was their pick. But anyway, were you going to say something about Ralph Backstrom?
Oh, just first of all, he's a handsome guy, and he just passed away in 2021, the year that we made our last Stanley Cup run, which still baffles me that we did that, but yeah, he's a good-looking dude, and he had a long career with the Canadiens. Continued on into the WHA afterwards. He had a long career. So,
I mean, he was a very good center,
He really was.
and I mean
wasn't a huge guy either. He was small, 5'10", 165.
Well,
that
in
was the
those
size
days-
of a hockey player back in the 50s and the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Until
like-
Beliveau and
I mean,
Richard. and-
he looked like a giant compared to Henri Richard.
I think Richard was only like 5'9", not even that, maybe 5'7".
Rocket
say
wasn't
5'8".
huge, but he was a
big.
little bulkier. But his pocket Rocket, his younger brother,
Yeah.
was, you could fit him in your pocket. So
You know what's one of the most... yeah, that's why they called him. That's one memory I'm always going to have about going to the Sabres games in Buffalo is the night that they randomly honored some Sabres and Canadiens players, and Henri Richard walked out on the ice. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Henri Richard! Like, I never got to see the Rocket, right? He passed away in the year 2000 when I was 13 years old. But seeing Henri Richard in person, live in the flesh, that was a thrill.
Wow.
Just to see him in that jersey. I think they were honoring the French Connection that night or two in Buffalo, like
Gilbert Perreault,
Tim Horton, and
Rennie Robert,
yeah,
René
like it was,
Robert, and Rick Martin.
Richard Martin.
so that was pretty neat to be able to see.
Pretty
the
neat
pocket.
that the three of those guys actually got back together.
Yeah, Ricky Martin. Yeah, especially after what
Is
happened.
that like a Beatles reference or something? Okay.
Well, no. I mean,
No,
they had
it's
a
a
little bit
little-
of a little animosity going
Oh.
on there. A little
I got to think music every time I'm with John. And
little
John,
Corey Perry.
Absolutely.
Can we
Little
tell
Corey
people-
Perry going on.
By the way,
You
I
love
did
Corey,
I
yeah?
did
I
get to
love
meet the Rocket once.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh man,
you know who else
that would
John
be a
met?
dream.
I want to tell her. I want to show. I'm going to show her out. I'm going to put this up on the screen for our viewers. On more than one occasion, John Fillion here. Can I tell people where you used to work?
Absolutely.
What was that?
Absolutely.
Thank you. We had complaints about how many times you said absolutely, so you're welcome.
I noticed there's an Ottawa podcast called Absolutely.
Well, they missed the H.
They don't have it.
I know. They get the,
They just don't have it, period.
They can get the H.
They don't have
here.
it, period. You're right. Yeah, Ottawa.
They can get the H out of here.
They can take the
They
H
can get
out
the
of there.
HE double hockey sticks. No, sorry. I shouldn't swear. Anyway, John used to work at Sam the Record Man, folks.
Yes.
And in fact, he sent me a picture the day after the draft. A picture, a very fine, classy, like, looks like you were at a ball, a charity ball, or a prom, or a wedding or something. It's a picture of John here and Celine Dion, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to put it up right here for the viewers.
Yeah, sorry about your luck.
John, that's a nice shot of you.
Merci beaucoup, mon ami.
Like, I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. Like, I know you met a lot of music acts over the years, but that was pretty neat to see that one. And you said you met Celine on more than one occasion.
Yeah, so, I mean, Celine is special because, I mean, she's Canadian. She's a French Canadian.
Oui, oui.
And she loves the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, she checks all the boxes.
Absolutely.
And even though you... yeah, right. You really mean that, eh, Paul? Oh, yeah.
My heart must go on, believe me.
Absolutely. And Celine, you know, my father was the eldest of a family of 15, and Celine is the youngest of a family of 14. So,
You guys got a lot in common.
good people. Good people.
How you didn't end up together is beyond me.
Yeah, that's what I can't figure out.
I think it's because she liked Vegas.
She looks like an
She liked Vegas,
octogenarian.
and I liked the Falls. You know.
But she looks like an
I'll grant
octogenarian.
you. I'll grant you that.
And that's the way it is.
So anyway, let's finish off with some of these players that wore number 20, right?
So Phil Goyette,
Bronco Horvath.
Excellent transition, by the way.
Chicago Blackhawks. When I hear that name, I think Blackhawks. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Bronco Horvath, but he started with the Habs and using number 20. Dave Bellin.
Dave Bellon.
That's him. 64 to 67, he wore number 20.
Dave Bellon.
Gary Monahan, 1968. And I'm going to give you somebody
Sean Monahan's father.
that you're going to be so happy, I'm going to say.
It's really not.
Abby?
And you probably know this if I asked you about it, because he's famous that wore number 20. And he wore it for 8 years
Wow.
during the 70s.
I don't know. I should know, obviously.
Peter Mahovlich.
Pete Mahovlich.
Pete Mahovlich.
Yes, the
Pete
name kind of,
Mahovlich.
yeah, and, you know, and I love Peter Mahovlich.
Oh, yeah,
check,
he was
check.
great.
I mean, I got to meet Peter once.
Sorry. Just ignore me while I'm testing the mic. I'm sorry. Keep talking.
I got to, yeah, we'll just talk over
I don't know
top
why
of
they
that.
bring me back every time.
We'll talk over top of that. Yes, Peter Mahovlich. I mean, I got to meet him one time. He was a little hungover, but he had.
Not in Montreal.
I mean, he played for Canada Cup for Team Canada as well. Made a great contribution, and probably one of my favorite all-time goals. Was against the Leafs. The score was 0-0, third period, 3 seconds left. Puck is in the Toronto zone. Henri Richard is taking the face-off for the Habs. He looks back and he tells Peter to move over about 3 or 4 feet. He takes the face-off. The puck goes right back to Mahovlich. Bang, into the net. Game over. 1-0 Montreal over Toronto.
That was as famous at the time as when Babe Ruth pointed to the one part of the stands, and he got up and hit a home run. And he hit a home run right there. Shel Dahlin. Remember Shel Dahlin? He was on the Habs for a couple of years.
Related to Rasmus?
Wow.
I don't know.
Any relation to Rasmus
It
Dahlin
could be.
from the
It could
Buffalo
be.
Sabres?
Peter Sevigny.
Sevigny?
Remember him?
Yes.
94 and 95. And this guy
Sevigny
here.
Blanc?
This guy here's the guy we really liked. Richard Zednik.
Oh,
The
Zednik.
Z-Man.
Yes, and speaking of Buffalo, I mean, it's hard. It's not fun to think of the worst thing that ever happened to him. But in Buffalo's where he's got his throat cut, his jugular was cut by a skate. I don't know if you guys remember that in Buffalo. Yeah, years ago.
Dangereux.
Richard Zednik?
Yeah, Zednik. He
did he?
had his jugular cut open, and it was quite a mess in Buffalo. Thank God they got to him
I thought
quickly.
that was
but-
Clint Malarchuk, the goaltender. Did he get it?
well, it's
too?
happened to more than one
a-
player, unfortunately. But Zednik was the most recent Canadiens victim. in that regard.
And Chris Weidman.
Chris Weidman.
He was number 20.
He was for a bit. Yeah. You're right. Yep.
And finally, our guy.
Slav.
Uri.
So there you go. There's a list.
Slavkashki.
Now there's a lot more, and some
You call them
Well,
Slavkashki.
yeah, there were 53
three
of
of
them.
them. Yeah, there's a
You
lot
know who
more.
else wore it?
obviously.
Smolinski. Remember Brian Smolinski?
No.
He was with the Canadiens for a cup of coffee.
But he might have been 22.
I think Mike Johnson might have wore it for them.
Yeah, there's a lot that had worn it, but I didn't put them all down. 53 of them. I just picked out the guys that were kind of more of the famous guys. But there you go. 53 players over the lifetime of the Habs.
We'd be here for an hour.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, exactly. Most of them you never heard of, though.
Well, I mean, 20s, 30s, 40s.
You know, it's hard to imagine.
I mean, and think about this. Back then, you could only use 1 to 30.
Yeah.
You weren't allowed to have number 69
or 80.
When was that a thing? Like, when did they change, or when was that a thing? When was that?
Expansion, probably.
Definitely expansion when they started to retire jerseys.
Well, that's the problem with Montreal. We probably have 20 retired jerseys too because we're so famous.
I mean, number 9, right? You can't.
Yeah. Isn't it going to get harder and harder? Here I go again. I know you're just like, I can see you squirming inside.
Well, you're fading in and out and everything every time you monkey around, and it's making noise on the. It'll be a noise on.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, every time you monkey around, that makes a noise.
This is it. This is it. Final position.
And it almost sounds like you're.
Microphones pick up noise. That's what
you're away.
Do.
You can hear things that I can't. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. This is it. This is it. I'm done.
Okay. News and rumors we're going to move on to from that beautiful little piece of trivia for all you Montreal fans.
That's a fun way to start the show. I got to say, it
is. And you know what? A lot of Montreal people who are fans love the nostalgia of Montreal.
Well, it's the history.
Yeah, it's like beautiful.
That's why you two guys are the hosts. I mean, you've seen a lot, man.
The younger people won't remember these guys, but in our day, these were the Slafkovskys and Caulfields and Suzukis of the.
And this is exactly what this team is all about. It's lineage. And why wouldn't you want to play for the best hockey team ever?
It's not an exaggeration when you look at it all, but it's also the tradition of it. And but I want to ask you guys this, because how excited are you about the next? Is this the first time in a long time where you really have believed that this could be a team unseen since the glory days of 60s, 70s, and 80s Canadians? I mean, is that what you believe Kent Hughes and them are building right now?
I totally believe that. I mean, I got excited. I think in around 2003, 4, 5, 6, there were a couple of great series that we had against the Bruins, and we were winning a few playoffs that we weren't expected to win, and we started to advance, and you'd get a little excited. Carey Price coming onto the team. Everybody got excited about that.
Most of us.
The run that actually took place during COVID, like that final run, that was amazing.
Did that reignite kind of?
That got me really back into the swing. Exactly.
Okay.
And then since then, everything that's gone on since then, especially with the change in management and the rebuild factor and the philosophy, that is totally exciting. So to see the team actually go to the finals and then realize right away that, okay, this team now has to be rebuilt and we have to make major changes and are doing that, and the whole philosophy that they're using to or that they're employing to try to get to this goal is absolutely exciting. And the fact that what we're doing in each draft, the fact that we're actually following players from, junior or university hockey into becoming, playing in development camps, going on, their prospects, going on to, and we're onboarding them into professional leagues like the AHL, then bringing them into the NHL. I mean, it's exciting, and it's totally fascinating to see this. It's like watching a Netflix edition of hockey, so you watch Netflix, talking about Formula One. Now, I mean, this is it right here.
Well, for me, it was in previous years when we didn't make the playoffs, I was sick of watching them, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
right?
That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
But since the new management, I'm not sick of watching them because it's a team that tries all the time. Yeah, they don't make the playoffs, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. If you're a gambler, you got to get wrecked before you win a big jackpot. You're going to lose a bunch of money before you win. And you can see right now that, yeah, we're not making the playoffs, and yeah, we came in last and a couple 28s and stuff like that, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We are moving in the right direction, so you've got to be very optimistic, and you got to love Hughes and what he's doing and trust him, and we're seeing the results of all Hughes' great moves right now.
And you've got a team that is congregating together on and off the ice at this point. So they are like building this dynamic between all of them, and they absolutely believe in themselves, and that's very special.
You know, that's a good point, John, you know, and you see it in all the weddings, like Gallagher just got married, right? And it's amazing the number of players who aren't with Montreal anymore
that want to be there.
That want to be there, that want to be part of the Montreal Canadiens, even if it's at a wedding.
And they're allowed. They're brought in. They're included. And
Yes.
that's a whole different dynamic as well.
Yes, and it's really, really great to see that the players leave, and then they're still really good friends, and they hang out like Toffoli, hanging around with a Habs sweater, walking around Toronto with these guys. Then all these guys are getting married.
Cool.
Anderson in Italy, and Gallagher got married in Montreal, and then went to England for his honeymoon or something. But whatever.
And they're supporting them. That's the other thing
Yes.
that is so cool, that they're supporting them. They're like, yeah, I'm not with your team anymore, but I was with your team, and keep going, guys. You know?
Does it go to show that that's even back then they had a really special culture, right? Like they even had, Petrie was with them for 7-8 years. I mean, that's a long run with any team.
The chemistry was building.
Yeah.
Mind you, Petrie is, he has affection for the Habs because they're still paying him.
Yeah.
For at least one more season, yeah.
But the thing is though, it's good to see that these guys who played with the Habs and were such a part of the whole team are still, really good friends, and they still hang around, and it's just not on the ice where they're all tight, and that's a good thing. But even off the ice, these guys would still, like Toffoli said, he'd love to come back to Montreal, and same with a lot of these guys. Like they enjoyed their time here because of the culture, like you always talk about, John, that was being built.
Well, the reason I asked about why you guys are so excited, because you saw multiple Stanley Cups, and we're just trying to see one for our generation, right?
We also believe that, and it is a fact, the Montreal Canadiens are the best hockey team in the National Hockey League. So we want to, and if you are the best,
is that biased at all?
Not at all. It's just objective. I mean, just add up all the Stanley Cups, watch all the games. You'll see that they're far and above the team. I mean, classic uniform. Montreal doesn't change their uniform. Like, that is what they've been...
That's one thing I like.
They've been wearing that for like 100 years plus, I think we're excited for the fact that we saw them win so many Stanley Cups, of course, 50s, 60s, 70s, etc. They came back. They won a cup 86. They won a cup in 93. We want to see one more, like, as far as, Paul and I go, as far as our years. We think, Drew, we want to see them start winning cups, and you'll see them win 5 or 10 more cups during, your tenure.
I'll take 1 or 2 in my lifetime, because you see, like, the Leaf fans, like the old Leaf fan guys walking around just one before I die shirts, right?
Yeah, well, we don't wear those. We don't have a shirt like that, and we never will.
And you've seen
that is the difference.
You've seen many cups since ’67. That's the difference too. So.
Yep. Oh, we have.
Yeah, and that's what we love. Like hockey, I mean, it'd be like doing the password, that game password. And if Paul said to me hockey, I'm going to go Montreal Canadiens.
Right.
There's only one answer.
I just wanted to ask because we're like I said, we're really buying what they're selling us in terms of the rebuilding, and
we are.
They haven't rebuilt like this since we don't even know if they've ever done it. I don't think they ever, because Jeff Molson said in the history of the Canadiens, they've never done a rebuild like this from the ground up.
I agree with that.
So this is historic.
I don't think they've had to.
They haven't had to.
Because back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, they really didn't. And then the 90s, after the 93 Cup, they started. And I just think we've had very, very bad management, I think, through the 90s and 2000s. That's been our biggest problem, not players, management. We've had some good players.
Bear in mind, hockey is a totally different game now than it was, say, 60 years ago.
Right,
okay?
Right.
So as you're bringing, a lot of times we talk about lineage. So a lot of times we would reach back and take generational players and say, you know what, you did so much for us contributing to our Stanley Cup wins. Let's make you a front office person, okay? But just because you rewarded us on the ice doesn't mean you're going to reward us in the front office.
Right. That's
Okay?
seems to be a
that's the change that's being made.
They've changed that, right?
And as well as it's now like, how do we, like, let's dissect this. So we're not winning Stanley Cups since 93. There are a lot of other teams that are. There's some teams who have won maybe 3 and 6 years, et cetera, et cetera. What are they doing that we're not doing?
Yeah.
Let's do a forensic examination of how to win a Stanley Cup, how to be a Stanley Cup champion.
In today's NHL.
Because that's what we are. We are the Montreal Canadiens. We are Stanley Cup champions. End of story.
And I think we're starting to see, too, we're getting out of this have to be French. Because Hughes isn't French. Gorton isn't French.
Oh, Gorton's definitely not French.
Kent Hughes is French.
He's French?
He speaks fluent French.
Yeah, but is he from
He was
Quebec?
born in Montreal.
Was he?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Darn, I thought we were getting out of that
No.
crap.
There's nothing. You don't need to get out of that crap. You just have to have the right
Well, the right one isn't
The right
Bergevin.
Francais
It isn't
Canadian.
Ray Jean Houle.
No, and that's what I love Ray Jean Houle. And Ray Jean Houle,
He's blood. He's family.
exactly.
For me.
Exactly. And that's why he,
Good guy,
they
but
reached out to him and they
rotten
brought him
manager.
but he did, I mean,
Serge Savard was a good manager. Though.
Yeah,
he
I like
didn't
Serge.
didn't bring them to a Stanley Cup. Let's put it that way. But the bottom line is that we still have this unique character of being French Canadian, living in the city of Montreal, which is probably one of the most magnificent cities in North America. Second to none as far as it's a fashion capital. It's
Yeah.
the Formula One. Where do they race? They don't race in Toronto. They race in Montreal. This is the city of this country, whether you believe it or not.
Whoa.
It is, and so to have this hockey team that's been around for 120 years and playing hockey still and having this tradition of French Anglaise, it's like, how unique is that?
It is unique. It's not, but I know where you're coming from in terms of the
Yeah, I don't want a French
Nobody was
coach or anything else. I want the best coach. I don't
Yeah.
care if he's French, Martian,
Well, we have
whatever, Russian,
do we have the best coach?
Well, I think we have a very good one right now.
And is he French?
He just happens to be French.
But that was
C'est la vie.
But is he the best coach? We don't know because he's only been coaching 2 or 3 years.
So we're gonna find out.
So we're going to find out. But there's a lot of coaches who aren't French who are dang good coaches. John Cooper.
Absolutely, there are for sure.
There are. So,
he's a lawyer too, and guess who else is a lawyer?
Kent Hughes.
Is he a lawyer?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
And an agent.
And
Yeah,
that he
manager.
became a
He's everything.
He's a
lawyer
brilliant mind.
to become an agent
To become a
to
manager.
become a GM.
Yeah, there you go. That's a stepping stone.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me tell you about something here. You give me your take on this. You think it's good. An interesting note from Russia. I don't know if you guys tuned into this at all, but in a major move, the KHL has separated from itself from the RHF, which is the Russian Hockey Federation. So what does that mean? Well, the Russian Hockey Federation is the body that controls hockey in Russia, just like the Hockey Canada is, right?
Okay.
I follow.
And the KHL was ruled by the RHF, and that's why a lot of these players couldn't come over. But
I thought it was because of the army.
well, see, this is the whole thing. Now that's a really good point because the hockey team was not separated from state.
Absolutely.
They were part of the army because you remember the '72 series when they came over here. Everybody's going, these guys are a bunch of bums, right? And
They're amateurs.
they're amateurs, but they weren't. They're paid by the army.
They were professional hockey
They're
players.
professional hockey players, so they fooled a lot of
Interesting.
people.
Interesting.
Now they've separated the hockey.
They didn't
from the
fool
state.
us.
No, they didn't fool us. We could see as soon as they started playing, these guys aren't bums. But anyway, they're separated now, so that means a little more freedom for the Russian players. So guys like Demidov and Mishkov
Demidov.
are able to come over. Bogdan Kanyushov and Evgeny Volikin. These guys will be able to come over now a lot more easy than they were before.
A little quicker.
When did this happen? Because obviously...
I just read about it. So I don't know when it happened exactly, but that was why one of the reasons probably why we didn't take him. On a side note, Mishkov, now that we see what this happened, this little deal that has been made, he could be the one that got away. He signed an entry-level contract with Philadelphia. He should be seeing ice time way before it was predicted, but I said that. He'll be over. Don't worry. They'll find a way to get him out of there if they take him, the Habs, right?
Yeah,
it was inevitable. Right. It was inevitable,
yeah.
Right? And the thing is, though, here's a question I have for you guys. That's interesting fact. So, if you're going to draft Russian players, don't be worried about it if they're in a contract with the KHL.
Forget about it.
But
well, the only interesting thing there will be the onboarding process too. But this
is interesting because somebody said that if this would have been the fact, and we took Mishkov, we wouldn't have Demidov.
Okay.
Now, do you agree with that, or do you think we'd have both of them?
I think that they really were careful with that pick. Well, last year with they really believed in David Reinbacher as being the best defenseman available in last year's draft. Think about this year and how many. This year there were a lot of really good defensemen available. And last year there were as well. But last year the Canadiens had the first pick at the first defenseman in that draft. And they felt that David Reinbacher was the best of those defensemen last year. So they felt his ceiling was higher than Michkov. They also knew about Demidov last year. Like if you heard Kent Hughes say in his interview right after they selected him, they knew about Demidov last year as well.
Now, if it wasn't 3 years before Mishkov could play, because that's what everybody was saying.
That's changed now.
Well, it's changed now, but if we would have picked Mishkov...
We could have had them both, you're saying. That's what you're getting.
Would we have taken Demidov now, or would we have picked a defenseman this year?
Or would Demidov...
I see what you're saying.
Or would Demidov have been available when we picked fifth this year? Because if we had taken Mishkov and everything started to open up and people realized it, would he have gone second overall this year?
Yeah, that makes a big difference. This little... KHL, RHF.
That's what makes the difference.
I
think Demidov, no matter what, would have been drafted earlier than fifth.
There you go. I mean, so there's so many different opinions on this because you're trying to.
So many people were like, how could he be available still? How could he still be available?
It's really a wonder, but Beckett Seneca becoming third overall, that was a shock for a lot of people. And including no more than him, right? But I see what you're getting at. It's like a lot of hypotheticals, but I think the Canadiens would have had a very large hole to fill if Reinbacher wasn't selected.
But my feeling always with Mishkov was like Russia was just such a volatile area, and do we really want to invest that type of a draft pick for somebody who might not ever even play in the NHL? I mean, I kind of felt like that 2 years ago. Now that we're seeing these moves that are being made in Russia in regards to professional sport or amateur sport leaning towards professional sport, it changes everything.
Can you imagine Mishkov and Demidov on one team?
Yeah, but that's where I really hope that Kaprizov is a free agent in 2 years.
I was trying to remember his name last year, last week.
Kirill Kaprizov.
Yeah, Kaprizov. Kaprizov salad.
They have compared Demidov. How do you say it?
I say it as Demidov.
Demidov. They've compared him to Kucherov and Kaprizov. Okay, I haven't heard any Ovechkin comparisons. Kaprizov, yeah, but
cut your.
It's not Sav.
Because
he played in the '60s, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that. So,
but you know
for the Red Army.
Of Kenny.
We can't keep a straight face on this show.
No. Wow,
which is what makes it so much fun.
We get sidetracked with these goofy names.
I'm going to miss you guys for a little bit. By the way, I say we're.
I'm missing you.
I say we're taking a break from this show for at least my channel. But I mean, the Habs could drop a trade next week, and we're right back on.
Yeah,
so.
well, yeah, my heart must go on if you're not here. I'll tell you that.
If they make a trade, we're coming back in, and you guys are gonna. Even if I'm not here,
Celine Dion joins the management team.
Yeah, if they don't make a trade, we're coming back in.
We're coming back in. But,
okay, so anyway, that's just something to chew on there. That Mishkov, Demidov, will we have had them both? Will we have made different picks if we knew he could come right over? You know, it's just neat to take a look back at what happened, and now we see changes like this, and we go,
Opportunity. There are so many opportunities out there.
Did you guys hear what Demidov said though after his interview? Because he was begging to come to Montreal. According to Arpin Basu, he was begging for it. He wanted the pressure.
I've been begging for it a couple times myself, so I know what he's like.
Keep that to yourself. Keep that to yourself. But Demidov,
I feel his pain.
Yeah, well, he's you just settle down over there. Demidov was truly, really wanting to. When you find out afterwards, like what these guys were, saying in the interviews, all that stuff. That's what the really interesting stuff is to me. So the fact that Demidov really wanted to come to Montreal really spoke volumes, and how, he was genuinely begging to come here. And unfortunately, he won't be at the Prospect Challenge in September that the three of us are going to. I actually emailed Arpin yesterday because I was really curious. I'm like, hey, is he really not going to be there? Because I got these tickets for us, thinking that we're going to get the first ever glimpse of Demidov in Montreal ice, and we're not going to right now, unfortunately, because the KHL season starts apparently early September, and unless his contract is terminated, he won't be playing in the Prospects Challenge. So I was disappointed to hear that, but there will be a lot of other prospects to view at the Prospects Challenge. But I was really hoping to see him at this year because we saw Reinbacher last year in Buffalo, but Reinbacher was also signed with the Canadiens, whereas Demidov has to finish his obligation with SKA before coming here. So unfortunately, we won't get to see him in person this year. But talk about anticipation! There's no more anticipated player since Alex Kovalev. I don't know. I don't even know who to compare him to in terms of the anticipation of just being able to see him in person for the first time for Habs fans, because they would have filled the Bell Center for this Prospect Challenge. They would have filled it if he was coming this year. So that's why I got those tickets so quickly. I jumped right on him, but we'll see him when we see him.
Yes, he'll be here soon enough. Don't worry.
I know. I'm just excited.
He'll be here.
I'm excited.
He'll be here.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of players already that are here.
Exactly.
Can I read an Owen Beck quote? I know, unless you want to go somewhere.
Owen Beck.
Yeah, give us a...
Friend of the show.
Yep, Owen Beck.
Friend of Habsolutely and Drew Deek's channel, Owen Beck. This was an interesting little quote from Owen here, and shout out to Josh from Habs Digest for this one. This is from development camp last week.
Okay.
In terms of he's talking about development, so I thought you'd be interested to hear this because I know how impressed you've been with the change in the approach to development with the Canadiens. So I think it's come a long way, and it's been good to be here these 3 years. We had the skill development that you saw, and we try to apply it into the high-pressure situations. Adam Nicholas, skills coach with the Canadiens, will stop the drill, talk to us about it, try to work on our hockey IQ, and kind of develops it into video sessions as well behind the scenes. There's a full range of development here.
Nice.
So that's an encouraging sign from Owen Beck, this is his third development camp now with the Canadiens.
Here's what I love about Owen Beck right now. He's 6 foot, 194 pounds. When we met him, he was 5'11", 181.
Nice.
He is I mean, I watched him doing workouts on YouTube, not hockey workouts. Actual weight workouts. And he's really upped his game. In fact, he's getting thicker. He looks different than when we met him. Bigger, but not.
He seems to have grown
in
a lot,
good way. Yeah.
Yeah.
So his physicality is really moving along.
He's taking it serious.
And that's important for somebody who's going to be a third line center.
He's just a leader. He has that leadership quality to him. Big. Didn't you guys find that when we sat in the room with him? That was the first day you and I, the three of us, met.
He reminds me a lot of Suzuki in the way of his presence.
His presence is very natural. He's not trying to put on, but he's got it.
Absolutely.
He just has that hockey player. Like, I think he's downplaying. I think he knows how good he can be, and he just had that presence. Right?
And Paul talks about him being a cerebral hockey player, but I think as well as he's intuitive.
He is
intuitive, and I found him to be very, very focused and serious. I mean, he wasn't there to joke around and that.
But it's super polite though, like super respectful.
Yeah, but we're always joking around, right?
Yeah, he'll get there eventually,
and
right?
He kind of, he was kind of like okay, like
he's taking care of business.
But he's taking care of business. He's
very stoic, right?
He's got a goal in mind, and he's focused on it. And I'll talk to you about that, and we'll have a laugh maybe. But really,
and that,
I'm here for hockey, not for any monkeying around. Right?
Yeah, like us jumping into pools, swanton bombing into pools.
I just found him a serious kid that's looking towards a goal, and he's going to reach it, come hell or high water.
And that being said, I mean, I watched the scrimmage on Friday.
Let's talk about that. Yeah, for sure.
The red and white, and I didn't really see Owen Beck when I was watching it. But I did see Joshua Nadeau, Tyler Thorpe, Michael Hage,
yes,
and Florian Xhekaj. And they all looked large. They all were crashing the net. They all looked great. They all stood out to me of all the players that were on the ice.
And that's what we need.
And they're all forwards.
And also,
that's what we need.
I know this is a random one, but Bronson Ride, defenseman. That guy was with the Ice Dogs the last 2 seasons. Bronson Rye he's a big defenseman. He was at development camp with the Canadiens, and he's not one of our draft picks. But it was just interesting to see him there. It was just like, I've never really been crazy impressed by him, like no offense to the guy, but he's a big kid. Sobolev was with the Ice Dogs last year. He had a good season, but I don't know where he's at now.
You got to have 2 teams.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say that.
But Bronson Ride, it was just cool to see him there. But the guys you mentioned, they were the standouts.
And there was a goaltender named Miller.
Mm-hmm.
Quentin Miller.
Who looked impressive.
And so did Jacob Fowler. The first save of the game, Jacob Fowler made. I'm like, this kid's just such a natural.
You know what? Fowler looked good at the beginning, but near the end, he took a lot of rubber.
And that's good. That's good. This is the
a lot of rubber went behind him. We'll see. I mean, everybody talks about Fowler's winning attitude.
And his numbers.
And the fact that he wins games, and that's why we pick him, because he wins games. So we need him to bring that. And we'll see again how well he plays this year in Boston.
And that's a real good segue. That's a real good segue to my next question for you guys. And then we'll go back to the prospect challenge or
development camp.
I know I always screw those up.
But
we're going to the prospect challenge.
We are talking about an offer sheet to Swayman from Boston. And
offer sheet.
And this, because he did not go to arbitration. So anybody can put an offer sheet on him now because he's an RFA.
Okay.
And they're talking about Montreal maybe putting an offer sheet for $9 million to the kid for a long-term contract.
Won't happen.
I don't see that at all.
Won't happen.
Where'd you get this rumor from?
Never mind. I got my sources. If I tell you, you're going to steal them.
I'm not going to steal your source.
Well, I know. I just read it.
I just think that's like a hunk of
he's an RFA, and somebody could put an offer sheet on the guy.
You tell Chopper that's not happening.
No, Chopper, he don't want it to happen. He wanted to sign this kid, but he wouldn't go to arbitration. So
how desperate are we for a goalie, though? I don't.
We're not desperate right now.
This guy's good.
We're
looking for a good goalie.
That good.
He's 25 years old. And, he's a darn good goalie.
Oh, so you're talking about Swayman.
Swayman, not Allmark. He went to Ottawa.
I know Allmark's gone.
I want to pick up a goalie who's 28 to 30 when it's time.
Well, this guy will be 28.
Yeah, but I want to see what he's like when he's 28.
Montembeau's 20.
Let's put it that way.
He's got years of experience in the NHL now. He's done really well for Boston. I mean,
I think the goalie is going to be Caden Primo.
Man.
I'm looking at we only had 2 shutouts this year. I'm going to try and get deeper in analytics this year. I mean, the league average was 5 shutouts this year. So we're missing 3 shutouts, okay? 3 shutouts are 3 wins.
Probably.
No, well, unless you go to shootout.
Against 2.
Unless it's 0-0 when we go to shootout, right? Otherwise, there's 3 wins. So we need to be above average on shutouts.
Do you think we have a starting goaltender right now?
I think Caden Primo will become our starting goaltender this year.
But Samuel Montembeault is our starter right now.
Correct.
See, this guy could step right in and be the starter, and he's 25 years old and could play.
Yeah, but for how much, though?
Well, for whatever. I mean, $9 million. Bobrovsky's
We're going to spend that much on a goal? We just did that with Carey Price.
You know,
why would we do that again?
Not only that,
Because
Carey Price was worth having.
That
right?
price tag was hard to get away from, but
It was, but we're in
We went to a final with Carey Price. We're not going to. This Boston goaltender is not going to happen. But
I appreciate the fact that someone floats these things, but like, there's nothing there
right now. I mean, like people are floating so many things out there, like Max Pacioretty. We're gonna get, like that ain't gonna happen.
Patches.
No. We don't need another Scotty the Glide. We don't need this patio ready. 35 years old. Forget about it.
We've got enough mature players.
League minimum? I'll do a Jonathan Drouin contract for him.
We have enough mature players right now in the dressing room for us getting to the playoffs. Okay?
I don't think maturity is going to get you there.
But I'm saying maturity is part of it, And everybody's saying, Pacioretty would be great too because, he could put some pucks in the net and we need more mature players, blah, 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 blah. No.
So, you got 5 goals
you're
left.
grasping at old straws there.
Let's just keep working at what we're doing. Let's just buckle down. Let's onboard some players this year. Let's give them some taste of the NHL.
Let's not forget that the summer is extremely young.
Well, not only that, I mean, there's a guy named Newhook and another guy named Gooley, is it? Or
Caden
no?
Gooley? Are you thinking of Kirby Doc?
Doc.
Yeah.
Newhook and Doc. This is their year.
This is a big year for them, yeah. But I mean, what I was going to say was, like, I don't think the Canadiens can go into this season with the current roster that they have and expect to move the needle that very far. But none of the rumored players we've talked about, Nikas, Zegras, I know everyone's tired of Zegras, Laine, all the players that want and need new homes, none of them have them yet still, these RFAs. So that's what I mean. I think the NHL's taken a bit of a break here, and that's why the content's going to be dry for a bit, hence us taking a break. But eventually, closer to September, like Max Pacioretty did, the day before training camp in 2018, he got moved for Nick Suzuki and Thomas Tatar, and another draft pick. So I think there's still plenty of time to change this roster around before the season starts, and I think that they're okay waiting, and they always have been.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, it's like it's time to make like Joshua Waugh. It's like, okay,
sure, you'll be a Hab this year.
You're starting with the Habs from
Day one.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely.
I mean, the only guy that I would have brought in was Monahan because he fits with the team.
Fair.
I don't want to bring in people that are not part of what our build is, okay? And then, like I say, Monahan had 35 points last year, so we've got to replace those. That's where Doc and
Kirby will be the guy to fill
Newhook
points.
have to fill it out.
Yeah, Kirby's going to be
I think
relied upon a lot.
Newhook had 34 points, but he missed at least 6 weeks.
He missed almost half a season. So,
right?
Yeah.
So he's got to fill in points, and same with Doc.
Well, it's going to come down to our goaltending. I think we can. We
should pay Swayman $9 million.
well,
I'm not saying we should, but I'm just saying it's going to come down to our goaltending. If Primo and Montembeault can win those 1-goal games that we lost last year, if they can pull them out of the hat this year,
We had a lot of those losses.
we had like 40 of them or something.
if we have Logan Mailloux playing defense, and if we have Lane Hudson playing defense,
Ryan Backer.
I think Ryan Backer will be in the AHL still. But if we have those two
I
this
think
year,
he'll make a fight for it, though.
I think he will. If we have those two in the NHL, then if we have a better set of defensemen, if we have the puck not as much in our D zone and more minutes in our O zone, that will help to contribute to the goaltending situation.
Well, it'll help the goaltenders and also maybe put a couple more pucks in the net. I think there's two things that we have to look at this year that's going to either make it the playoffs or not. Our power play, number one, and our goaltending, number two. If we get those two things, and I'm not saying we need a superstar goaltender, but we got to have solid goaltending, consistent goaltending, and we definitely need to get our power play going. Those two things will turn those 1-goal games for us, I think. And that's kind of where we're at this year. We got a new power play guy coming up, somebody to do run the power play.
Burroughs is gone, yep.
We have a couple more guys like Lane Hudson and Logan Mailloux who are really mobile defensemen, along with Matheson, that'll really make a difference as far as quarterbacking the power play on 1, 2, or 3 lines.
Not only that, but moving the puck out of the D zone into the O zone, okay? Because so many times you're trying to clear that puck, you don't. You lose possession of the puck. That increases the opportunity of a goal because the goalie's already had to work the puck. Now he's working again quicker than getting a respite from you moving it down into the O zone. That all comes into play with goaltending.
Yeah, exactly. And so we'll see if Primo and Primo and Sammy can hold up. If they do,
I think they're expected to.
Well, they're expected to, but can they?
I think they can, but I think they're going to have more help this year.
Well,
I think it's going to be a very interesting year.
Yeah, like I'm thinking we're making the playoffs, probably maybe in a wild card position. We're not going to be second in the division or something, but we're going to be probably fighting for a wild card spot. I don't think we're going to be 28th again this year. I think we're better than that at this point. We have a few years under our belt for most of the players, and we'll be okay as far as that goes. Now, let me give you some lines, and you tell me if you like these combinations.
We're already going to lineups, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, what else? What else?
I know. The content's dry.
No. There's lots to talk about.
I just wanted to because we talked a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. Let's
go back to
that.
development.
Just development camp because again, Michael Hage. I only really got a chance to watch him for the first time at this development camp, and everyone's kind of saying the same thing about him, and it's fairly true. And then this guy skates like butter. I mean, my buddy Shane Gaumont was like, dude, this guy was the most outstanding skater by far on the ice at development camp. And we talk about Owen Beck, and we felt like Owen Beck's our future third line center or maybe fourth line center. I see now why we didn't draft Shane Wright even more so, because you drafted Michael Hage, you drafted Owen Beck, you got Kirby Dach at center, you got Nick Suzuki, you still have Jake Evans. But I'm probably missing another prospect.
Newhook is a center.
Newhook can play center as well. So the beautiful thing is that Michael Hage could end up being a winger or whatever. Maybe Kirby Dach will end up as a winger. And Owen Beck, we suspect, will be a center because he's really good in the face-off. So it makes sense why we went out and got Slavkovsky and now Demidov. Like, they've done it right in terms of drafting. But Michael Hage, I didn't know the first thing about him on draft night with you guys, and I wasn't gonna BS my way through anything. It was like, okay, now I see why they went after this guy with the Chicago Steel, and the emotional connection to Montreal is there. Like, it's all there. The story is fantastic. It's writing its own script as we speak, and it's at the very beginning stages of that script. But he looks like a player, and that guy moves. Like, if he played in Montreal next year, if he got a look next year, I would be totally fine with it. I know it's really early, but I don't think he would be out of place at all in the NHL as soon as next season. But I don't think they need to put him in the NHL right away. But he looked good.
Hage is in that situation like Beck physically.
He's bigger than Beck. He's a big kid. And Hage is a big kid.
I think though he will get bigger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Owen Beck is getting bigger and stronger as well. But when you look at Hage's stature, I mean, he's got the height, obviously, but he stands out. He skates with relative ease. It's one of his best attributes. He's got really good hands.
Very good hands.
Like, we talked about Beck at Seneca and how he had silky mitts, and they were looking at him, and it was all smoke screens just to divert from how interested they were in Demidov. That's what we learned. Like, with the whole Cole Eiser, remember we were obsessed with Eiserman on draft night. I think we were going to get him at 21. All these perfect things that they did to mislead other teams. If that's what they did, they succeeded. But Michael Hage is an exciting prospect. We're going to get to see him. I can't wait to see him at the Bell Center versus the Leafs prospects.
And Hage knows how to put the puck in the net as well.
Yes. You're talking about offense.
That's what's exciting. The guy who also really stood out was Xhekaj.
And Florian can just hammer guys, too.
He really stood out.
He did.
And he's a great size.
We talked about bloodlines and Iginla. Remember, we were talking about Iginla and the draft and all this and that. And but Florian, man, like,
younger brother battling older brother as they grow up. That's what I see.
I'm excited that all
he wants
four
to make
lines.
The team this year too.
Yeah, of course he does. Yeah, and he's going to be in Laval. Worst case scenario, he's going to be with the franchise this season, which is great. That's what's exciting about. And we keep forgetting about Machar, and everyone's kind of underestimating him. And I can't wait to see him just prove everybody right. I would say the Canadiens right for selecting him in the draft. But
and where will Sauce be this year?
You
know, Sauce had the sophomore year. Will he have?
It's not looking good for him.
No.
Right now.
No, you don't think so?
Nope.
We're talking about Harvey Pinard, right?
Right.
HP Sauce.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Can he step it up?
this is make or break for him, but I don't see it. I don't see a long-term future with him at the Canadiens.
Well, here's some lines that I read, right?
What do you got?
CC Susie Slav, number 1.
Okay.
Roy, Patrick, or Wawa.
Right.
Andre Waugh.
Wawa.
Doc and Newhook. Galley, Dvorak, Anderson. Kapanen, Evans, Armia. Anybody you want to throw it and replace with Hage or one of these guys, do you think there?
Those are pretty realistic. I don't know. Well, the Dvorak, Anderson, Gallagher, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Who did Gallagher play with last year?
He was having good chemistry with Armia at the end of the season.
Yes.
I'd keep them
And
together.
Newhook. It was actually Newhook, Armia.
That was
and,
that was a
Gallagher.
really nice line.
Well, maybe they'll keep them together then, right?
That
I
was a
think
really
we finally
nice line.
figured out that Josh Anderson won't be on the first line, so that's a good, or second line either, which is fine. It's just I think that the Canadiens had to really go through a lot of trial and error with him, and we're really hoping for a big comeback season for Josh Anderson. He's going to need it.
So you
Still
like Galley, Anderson, and Newhook, right? Is that what you're saying?
It was fluid.
Not necessarily.
It was
Well,
very fluid at the end of the season.
No, it was Armia, Gallagher, and Newhook. That's who was
Yeah.
together at the end of the season. Jake Evans is. I think there will be guys challenging for Jake Evans' spot this year.
Yes.
Yeah, he could be.
But
the
who's
odd
that
man
going to
out.
be? Owen Beck?
Yes.
Maybe. But I think Beck is good. I think Owen's going to start with Laval. I think that just makes the most sense. See how it's a hard league. The AHL is a hard league, so that's where you want to see how these guys.
And you want to give them as much ice time as possible.
Yeah, you don't want
That's
him to start with the Canadiens on the fourth line. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, Nick Suzuki started with the Canadiens on the fourth line when he got here, but then he just boom, 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 kept going up and up
Yeah,
and up.
yeah.
But we expect Owen to
High
develop
ceiling.
properly. There's no rush with Owen Beck, and there won't be this year either. I don't think so. But who will challenge? Who will challenge Jake Evans for that fourth line center spot? Realistically, to start the season, I think he'll start with the Canadiens on the fourth line center. I don't know why I said that. I think it was more like in the coming seasons, Jake Evans. This is his last year on his deal.
Yeah.
This is the last year of Jake Evans, Yoel Armia, and Christian Dvorak on their contracts. This is their last season. So some of them with the Canadiens probably in general. I think Oliver Kapanen will be somebody that will challenge for the fourth line center spot, but he'll be in Laval. So it's hard to say. I don't think anyone's going to knock Jake out of that spot to start the season.
Well, we know Armia.
So I changed my mind. Sorry.
Armia was on the tightrope last year. We were going to get rid of
And then
him
he
at
had a
the beginning.
resurgence.
He had a
he
great.
came back.
He had a great season.
So if he starts well, he'll stick around for a while.
I believe
Yes.
Armia is a key to the team right now.
There you go.
And on that note, I'm going to take a quick commercial break.
Woohoo!
We're back.
And Matheson, Savard. This is the defense pairings. Gouli, Mailloux, Hudson, Xhekaj, with Stubble as the 7th.
Struble.
Stubble. Captain Stubing.
Howard, Gopher, and Doc. Request permission to come aboard, sir. Ace Ventura. Thank you.
Permission granted.
Thank you.
But Matheson, Savard, Gouli, Mailloux, Hudson, Xhekaj, and Struble.
Say those slower because my brain is not clicking right now.
Matheson,
Thank you.
Savard, Gouli, Mailloux, and
Okay.
Hudson, Xhekaj.
See, I'd like to see
Hudson Mailloux?
Matheson play with Mailloux.
Mailloux? Matheson, Mailloux?
Matheson and Mailloux.
I think.
I think that's a big defensive liability.
I think Savard needs to play with Hudson.
Hudson and
Yeah,
Savard.
they played together
I
for
can do
Hudson's
that.
first two games.
Okay, I think that for sure.
So who's the odd man? Is there any odd man out? Because Kovacevic is gone.
Kovacevic is gone, and we don't.
Struble's Jordan Harris. You forgot about Jordan Harris, too.
And so, well, see,
He's probably going to get moved before the season starts.
yeah, and Savard is kind of one of those.
Savard stay at home, and that's
He
why
may not be on the Habs. They're looking.
I
they
think
could move him.
Savard. I think Savard will be there.
He's a
and,
deadline
and
move.
I think he's going to be like shoring it up for somebody. Like he blocks a lot of shots.
Yeah.
So I could see him
most.
playing with Elaine Hudson's, who's like takes off and goes down the ice.
He's going to teach him a lot, too.
Exactly.
I think David Savard will be with the Canadiens until the trade deadline. Unless they get a great offer, like that they can't, like we always say.
So Savard, who do you want with Savard?
Hudson.
Okay. So that leaves Matheson, and you said...
I think Xhekaj and Mailloux are going to be together.
Xhekaj and Mailloux?
They're going to get a look.
Xhekaj
They're going to get a look
Mailloux.
to see how they pair up with the Canadiens this season.
Okay, Xhekaj.
They played together in Laval. Don't forget that last year.
So that leaves Matheson and Hudson.
No.
Matheson and Gooley.
And Gooley, I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I like that.
Okay, there you go. There's
Yeah.
our picks. And, of course, in goal, we have Monty and Primo. That's not going to change. It's only a matter of who's going to be number one. So, and John says Primo.
I think Primo will come on to be the number one
And I hope he
goalie
does,
by the end of the
because
season.
I'm a big fan of Primo. You know that. So, I hope he does. I really hope he does. I think he has it in him. We'll see how he works out. That's all I can say. But they're going to get their chance this year. There's no fooling around. They're going to get their chance. And it's do or die for one of them.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, so, trois étoiles de la semaine dernière.
Well, I mean, you got to give it. I give it to Owen Beck. He's definitely a star for like bulking up, working out.
He's just like an under the radar. He's like a stealth bomber.
Yeah, and you mentioned you didn't see him in that.
I didn't really
Well,
see.
John said that.
Well,
not
you
me.
said that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but that doesn't surprise me.
But you
because
don't
I
need
watched
you don't
the
need to be
playoffs.
flashy to be good.
I watched the Memorial Cup playoffs, all of them for Saginaw, and you didn't notice him. But all of a sudden, he had all these goals, and he was picked most valuable player. That's the kind of player he is.
He
So
rises to the occasion.
he rises to the occasion. He flies under the radar, and that's good because a lot of
If you're
teams
not-
will be watching him, and he'll be burning them.
Yeah, if you're not noticing players, especially a defenseman, like that's a good thing. He's not a defenseman.
They're doing their job.
They're doing their job.
They're doing their job.
And they're making the little plays, doing the little things.
Okay,
well.
so we got Owen Beck, number one.
Totally impressed by the development players, like the Nadeau, the Thorpe, the Hage, the Xhekaj.
The Xhekaj. The second Xhekaj.
Okay.
And thirdly, Gallagher's wedding. Everybody was there, having
was
a
there.
great time.
You saw the height difference even with Carey and Gallagher. You see how much taller Carey was than
Oh, yeah.
Gallagher? It was hilarious. Carey's
And-
like 6'3", Galley's 5'10", 5'11".
And I got to agree with you, John. I took Galley for tying the knot, even though I think he's a bit crazy, but he's Gallagher. He tied the knot. Congratulations to him.
You're still tied.
All that, who?
You.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I can't get out of it. He never had to get into it. All the prospects that participated in the development camp scrimmage, right? I love
Correct.
that. Congratulations to all those guys for coming out and making a big impression on John and Drew and myself.
Hey, we're looking
And,
forward to watching you in September live in person.
Yeah.
We're going, right?
Well, I'm not going.
You're not going?
No.
Well, screw him. We'll just go.
Yeah, you guys go and report back to me.
Okay. Well,
You guys are the roving reporters. I am not going. Demidov is not there. I'm not going. Hughes
That crushed it.
That-
for
I
Tom.
told you they would
That crushed it.
fill the seats if you,
Hughes for continuing his quest for a deal to accelerate the Habs rebuild.
which they
So I
still
like that.
will do that
And
before
that's right.
the summer's
So-
out, right?
so-
That's what we're hoping.
I
for.
don't see it happening.
They might not. They might not.
Not before the summer.
Well, if he can't make
And
a deal,
I don't think
Before training camp? No.
He's waiting for people to bring him a deal, and the deal's going to be. It's going to have to work in Montreal's favor. I.e., we're not going to spend stupid money on someone's salary.
That was clear for
That-
free agency.
Yeah, and it's getting clearer and clearer by the day because again, we got a lot of people on board, and the deal is here's the deal. The deal is
I
if
see
you
Patrick
are
Line.
successful, like a Slav, you will be rewarded in a percentage of what we have available.
of the cap.
Exactly.
Of the cap, yeah.
That's the new model. That's the way we're rolling.
Well, you heard
makes
Ken
sense.
Hughes talk. Are we finishing the Troisième Étoile first before we keep talking? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say.
Would you have a troisième étoile?
I do.
All right, good.
I have
Go.
Michael Hage. Are
Hage.
we starting at number one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Les
Can I go number
premiers,
three?
you want les troisième.
Can I start with three?
Sure.
Le
Go
troisième.
ahead.
Le troisième étoile.
Number three, I will go with Florian Xhekaj. Number two, I
Okay.
will go
Le deuxième étoile.
Le Deuxième Étoile.
The
Owen,
third star.
Owen Beck.
Back, okay.
The Premier Étoile.
Les premiers étoiles.
Michael Hage.
Hage.
And my parents, for their 50th wedding anniversary.
Are having
this
a
past
party?
weekend. No, they just had it. We just had it on the weekend. 50 years.
Were you there?
Brian and Diane Thompson.
Paul,
Yes.
were you at the party?
No, I wasn't invited.
I wasn't invited either.
You know who was there? Mayor Jim Diodati.
Sorry about your luck.
Doesn't surprise me.
Presenting my parents with 3 different plaques, one from the premier, one from the prime minister.
But he didn't bring him a tax rebate.
Yeah. And also from the municipality of Niagara Falls, the city of Niagara
Well, that's
Falls.
cool. That's cool.
So 50 years,
is a long time.
Big Habs fans, Montreal Canadiens fans, Diane and Brian Thompson from Montreal, Quebec, born in Montreal, Quebec.
It's like Ken Hughes.
So,
Just like Ken Hughes that you learned today.
Yeah.
And
so congratulations
was Celine
Diane
there?
and Brian.
Celine was not
Celine
there.
Well,
you mentioned there's a story with Celine Dion in your family, I think you said.
Oh, yes. Yes. Well, my late aunt, actually, she passed away very young at 45. And she got to see Celine sing before she passed away. And she said after that now she can die happy. And
that's pretty cool.
Unfortunately, she did pass away suddenly. And the fact that she got to see her before she passed really meant a lot to her and to her family. So it was pretty special to hear. I mean, I was 9 years old when she passed. But the fact that she got to see her before she did was a bit of a miracle in and of itself. So that was when Celine was really mid-90s, taking off before My Heart Will Go On even came out, actually. But anyway, that was the special tie to Celine for my family, and she'll always be special to our family for that reason, because of what she meant to my aunt and also to our family, just for who she is and the fact that she got to announce Ivan Demidov and to see her looking healthy.
She's a Canadian.
She's a Canadian.
She's a French Canadian.
In more ways than one.
And she's a Montreal Canadian.
Yes.
It doesn't get better than that.
It was pretty
totally
special.
impressed.
It was pretty special.
Doesn't get better than that.
I'm pretty blown away.
Yeah. So, I was.
But congratulations
shout out
to your
to them.
parents, to Brian and Diane, right?
Thank you. Yes. Thank you very
Congratulations to Brian and Diane.
much. Love you guys.
50, correct?
50.
Wow.
The wind is at my back. This
that's
is
a
really
big-
nice, actually.
That's kind of like
That's right.
being on the Titanic.
Thank God
right?
I don't have shorts
My
on,
heart
see?
will go on, or
Hold
something.
me, John.
See? John?
Hold
My heart will go on.
Yeah, my shorts. I don't have shorts on, so it's cool. It's
You
beautiful.
know, it's a bit Celine-ish, James Cameron-ish.
Yeah, really.
James came
really.
back to visit us in Niagara Falls here recently. That was
Yes,
cool.
he was here. You should have talked to
Supposedly.
Daddy about
I
it.
should have talked to Jimmy about that. Yeah.
He never invited you, did he? No, he didn't invite me neither. And we went to school with him. I never got
Yeah,
an invite.
and, he didn't. The Bonvilla's not around anymore.
You guys
so
go to
he-
school with James
he-
Cameron?
He
Seriously?
couldn't go there. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we went to school with him.
Absolutely.
How far apart in age was he from you guys?
He was about two grades down.
Yeah, he's a couple grades down.
Yeah.
Do you actually remember seeing him at Stanford
Yeah,
when you
all
guys?
the time.
Absolutely, theater arts.
Nerd.
Yeah, total geek.
You guys never mentioned that.
Total geek.
You
Yeah.
guys went to high school with James Cameron.
Yeah, total geek. I mean, he's the kind of guy who would take phys ed, and he'd wear his dickie out on the field. And the dickie was like this mock turtleneck, a false turtleneck that people would wear with their button-down shirt. And Jim would still have his on when he
Yeah,
was
with
running,
the white
when he was
t-shirt
doing the
over it.
laps with the white T-shirt.
Over it.
And he was one of those guys that never took the shower after gym class.
There's a fun. We gotta clip that. Sorry, Jim.
Anyway,
You asked,
you
and we're giving you the memories, okay?
Absolutely.
This is a true story.
is
Isn't
like-
it?
These are true stories.
Yeah.
We don't make.
If it's not true, I'm done.
We don't make
No,
stuff
I'll
up.
show you the yearbook where he's in.
We don't make stuff. The coolest thing he ever did in that yearbook was the double page spread of the peace sign.
Yeah, on his
That
phone.
was all psychedelic.
like a lava lamp.
That
type
was
of thing,
cool.
all psychedelic and everything. Yeah, and he wrote a story about he called it the Stanford Monster, and
Wow.
he had the different parts, and it was like an alien type of thing, right?
Yeah.
With that football helmet on, and he had
Ricky
you know,
Haswell's
he had all
Ricky
kinds of,
Ricky Haswell's thumbs
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, he drew a picture, and he wrote a story about aliens. I mean, no, he
Well,
was.
that's ironic, isn't it?
Well, no, this is where he was going. Like you could see it.
He
had
went.
that
He
talent.
went to a couple of Yes shows and saw Roger Dean's
Yeah,
artwork,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
he made Avatar. That's
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, really.
Wow. Okay.
Anyway, we got to get out of here. This is we're doing
But
another.
back to hockey.
We're doing a whole another show.
I don't
here.
think Jim ever played ice hockey.
No,
No.
but he's got enough money to own a team right now. Anyway, my name is
Probably.
Paul Kalem here. This is Habsolutely. I want to thank my co-host John Filion, our guest.
Bonjour,
Drew
mes amis.
Everybody, hit the thumbs up. say you like us. Hit the subscribe button. Don't
At least
forget.
act like you do, okay?
And give us some good comments on this whole thing, because we like to reply to comments and we like to see them. We're out of here, and for now, I bid you adieu. We'll see you next Wednesday at noon on Habsolutely.
And we'll see you on YouTube when Patrick Laine is a Montreal Canadian. Thank you.
Ouch.
Salute.
Ouch, not going to happen. Ciao, ciao.